Obviously Larry Fitzgerald, number 11 Cardinals. His dad passed away yesterday. Media member for multiple years, known throughout Minnesota, became nationally known as Larry got bigger and into the pros and stuff like that. You guys know him and have met him. The thing I'm most upset about on this is, man, just as a dad, man, I hope he can get to that Hall of Fame ceremony. That's what I'm just upset about. Obviously, it's a big deal for everything, but I was just thinking yesterday, just sitting there going, man, to go through all that, be so happy for your kid and missing out on that in August. But I wanted to give you guys enough time to talk about Senior there and all of that. Did you interactions with him there, Coop?
Yeah. I first met Senior when Larry Jr. was introduced on draft day. And then I got to know him a little bit better that year up in training camp in Flagstaff. And I think when our relationship really started to grow was I asked him to do me a couple stories when the Cardinals were up in Carolina to play Cam Newton and the Panthers in the NFC Championship game.
Okay.
And so I had done a few stories leading up to game day with Mr. Fitz, including, their foundation work that they that they were doing with his late wife, who they lost to breast cancer, Carolyn. And so then it rained that day. I was up in the press box and I said, God, we got to fill a 1 hour post game show. So I asked Mr. Fitz if he would join me down on the field. I told him where we'd be. And once he finished up his locker room stuff, post game, if he'd join me on the field to do some live TV work. And he says, yeah. So I'm just waiting. I'm like, oh, geez, the guy's not going to show up. So I'm feeling I got to do some filibustering, and stuff like that.
Dancing, the old dancing.
And I'll be darned, here he comes running up, and it's raining. So we have people holding up umbrellas for us and stuff as we're trying to do the thing in the rain. And I mean, this guy, he just had Mr. Fitz, he's never at a loss for words. He can feel, and he has stories and stuff. I mean, it's almost like listening to Vin Scully on a blowout game try to fill the broadcast.
Right.
But he's got stories.
Right.
And so I thanked him after that. And I tell you, our relationship grew after that. I mean, we talk a lot. Matter of fact, he includes me on his a little group chat deal where he sends out, he does his radios shows and things like that up in Minneapolis. So he'll share those links with me and another group of people and stuff. And on this very podcast, I was talking about Mr. Fitz and his son and the impending Hall of Fame. And, I was questioning if I had said anything that upset him because, Mark Curtis had called me and asked, hey, did you see Cam's interview with Mr. Fitz?
Yeah. That's when he got voted into the Hall of Fame.
Right. Yeah. During the NFL Super Bowl week. And I said, no. So I looked it up and I watched it. And so, I even gave some comments. And I have not talked to Mr. Fitz since. And I have left him message after message. And he just wasn't calling me back. And I said, God, this is very unusual. And I was sharing this with Dale. I said, I was going back and said, did I say something that, upset him? Because he, that's just not like him. He always gets back to me. We talk so much, and I'm like, I was really wondering. So at Larry Jr.'s media dinner for that he had, last week, thanking the media for his coverage, for our coverage of him during his time with the Cardinals. I asked Larry about his dad. I said, well, Larry, I thought Mr. Fitz would be here. I mean, where he says, no, Coop, he doesn't travel much and stuff. And I wanted to ask Larry at that point if I said anything that had upset his dad, because him and his dad, we're not talking anymore. But I said, this is not the right time.
Right.
And so I was shocked when Cam Cox actually called me and says, hey, man, did you hear this news? And he told me that Mr. Fitz had passed and that Marcus, Mr. Fitz's other son, had put out this post. I said, "Gosh, I get it now." All right, so but those were my thoughts, and that I had said something maybe on this very podcast
Right.
that it teed him off. And Mr. Fitz is always a straightforward guy.
Well, that's what I was gonna
He'll
say.
let you know
Yeah.
and I'm just like, God.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I would have told you was just he will tell you if you may say something he doesn't like.
But yeah, I'm very saddened by the news. I mean, he was a great man. Matter of fact, Mr. Fitz, he had a procedure. I went in for an open heart surgery at the Arizona Heart Hospital in 2012, and probably like maybe 6 months later, Mr. Fitz needed a procedure, and he was in that same Arizona Heart Hospital, and they shared so he shared with me. They said, "Hey, Coop was in. This is the room that he recovered in." And Mr. Fitz says, "Well, I want that room."
Yeah, he looks good now.
Yeah. So he shared that with me, and so I mean, I never knew that he had any other health problems since then.